Hello again. I'm back here to talk about American domestic politics, of course. So the debate's up in the air about Mitch McConnell, right? I often wonder if he's still alive. Are they just covering for his passing? Because from what I'm hearing in reports, it's apparent he's not even around anymore. If he's alive, he's being held up by a machine in a coma. They're trying to act like he's sitting in a hospital in recovery. You know what I mean? Like he's just in rehab and he's going to be out soon and he's going to be well again. And I'm getting a feeling that they're just covering this up. And you know, I don't agree with Marjorie Taylor Greene or Thomas Massey on a lot of things. I mean, my politics are contrary to theirs by a mile. You know, I'm pretty left wing. I'm more of a progressive. I'm more of a DSA progressive, okay? I am not a libertarian conservative by any measure. But sometimes they're right about stuff. I'm not going to lie. I mean, they call out the Republican hypocrisy in their own party better than the Democratic Party does. I'm just going to be honest here. I'm going to say it right out loud. And Thomas Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene has nailed it on the hypocrisy and corruption. And what they both said was, and I thought it was very telling, is the Republican establishment is complete hypocrites. All right. They're mired in corruption and defending it. They're defending a cult. They're covering for their senior leadership, knowing that they should no longer be in office serving people. They should not be in office anymore. They're holding up people that are not even technically not alive anymore. Okay, but they also call out both sides of the aisle, which is legitimate because both parties are guilty of doing this. Both parties do this. You have these people that serve in Congress until they die. They're literally dying in office at 90 years old with dementia. Okay? We're seeing this all the time. And the political elite will go to bat to protect the incumbency of these seats. And we already know why they're doing it. Like, we know it's because they want to get a certain class of candidates elected to replace that person. So it's like a seat holder. So they'll purposely just put this person in hiding and pretend like they're still alive and functioning when we know they're actually not. Like, I don't know how long they think people are going to continue to buy this BS. Okay? But the buck's up. We know that Mitch McConnell's not functionally alive anymore. Okay? You guys can say whatever you want. All right? But it's no secret that they're threatened by the possible alternative of a replacement for Mitch McConnell. And that's why he is not resigned effectively. All right. It's because they want to elect another establishment Republican in Mitch McConnell's ilk, who's going to do the bidding for the powerful elite. Because I know a Republican that could probably run in Kentucky and get elected. And it's not going to be who the Republican Party wants. I can see Thomas Massey possibly running to replace Mitch McConnell's seat. And I don't agree with him on a lot of things, but it would be a step up in the world if he became the senator of Kentucky. And I know the reality, a Democrat will not get elected in Kentucky. I'm just going to rule that out already. I love Charles Booker. He's a great progressive. I would support him even if I lived in Kentucky, knowing he didn't have a shot, just on principle. I would stick with a Charles Booker progressive all the way through. But I also understand the history and the electoral reality and the politics of Kentucky. It is a red rock conservative state. It just is. And it's no secret they're also kind of racist. I'm just going to say that quiet part out loud. But we know that. But I know if there's a chance a libertarian conservative like Thomas Massey can get elected in Kentucky, that is plausible. And I would be open to see that happen because, God willing, they need it. So if they're not going to vote for a Democrat, they need to at least vote for a Republican with some moral clarity, for freak's sakes, because damn. And we know the elite don't want that because Thomas Massey effectively is on the same page as the progressives right now, and the true libertarians who want to stop funding genocidal wars with American taxpayer money. We're all in agreement with that, aren't we? Holding the elite and the powerful accountable, wanting to know how our money's spent, and bringing the taxpayer money dollars home back to our communities. That's a bipartisan consensus we all have. The elite obviously aren't on the same page. We know that. Okay. But, you know, I mean, I hope we can go back to a world where we can respectfully disagree on things and actually focus on making this country better. It would be a breath of fresh air to get to that point again in this country. You know, I wish we were back in the days where we were just arguing about tax margins and tax policy. You know, but we're way past that point right now. You know, our government's gotten so corrupt, they don't even care about the basic well being of their own constituents. You know, oh, plus they don't want the continuing release of the e files. Thomas Massey would advocate for that, and he did in Congress, which is why AIPAC and all these billionaires who I'm telling you are connected to all this spent a lot of money to get him out of Congress, and they did. They succeeded. Unfortunately, the good news is they're not doing as good of a job brainwashing the left anymore. Most of the Democratic voters have caught on to this. We see you guys. Unfortunately, though, you did brainwash a lot of Republican voters, especially older Republican voters, which I'll remind people, the reason why Thomas Massey got defeated is it was one of the most expensive congressional primaries in U.S. history. Like, AIPAC came hard for his seat and effectively got him out of Congress. And older voters turned out in record numbers, in higher numbers than younger voters. Even on the conservative side, older voters turned out in larger numbers. Again, I'm going to say this, I don't want to sound like I'm kapooing on Kentucky, but Kentucky is typically a low turnout state, no offense. Just saying, a lot of people don't vote in Kentucky. That's just reality. But we know why they're upholding the fallacy that McConnell's still alive and functioning. Because they want to hold that seat for a corporate elite Republican who's going to spend more money, spend more of our taxpayer money on covering up for these people, these criminals, and sending our money overseas to commit war crimes. We know this. It's just reality. And the fact that they don't think we see this is quite laughable. But the younger generation's waking up. And that's where I'm holding out hope. And it's not just liberals. I just want to get that across to people. It's not just progressives. It's not just the left. There's a lot of people on the right of our generation and younger that see the same crap. So I tell you, these elites are borrowing their time as long as they can. That's all we're really witnessing right now. That's just fact. Anyways, y'all. See you later. Love y'all. Goodbye.